The Toronto Raptors also on the court tonight, and there will be a familiar face in Scotiabank Arena. Let's bring in our Lindsay Dunn, who is courtside at the game. And Lindsay, we were speaking off camera. You got the chance to speak to former Raptors head coach Nick Nurse. He's back for the first time since being fired. My first question is, how is he doing?
I was in the press conference with a lot of media. It's the most packed I've seen the Scotiabank Arena so far this season. Heck, we're only 2 regular season games into this, and he was pretty short with his answers. The environment right now inside Scotiabank Arena is weird and awkward. And for fans that don't know, a quick recap on why it would be this way. He was fired last season after a disappointing year, and just a month before he was fired, he kind of wondered out loud, when he was still head coach of the Raptors, his future with his team, which caught his team off guard, it caught everybody in the media off guard, and then kind of caused even more of a separation between him and certain players in the locker room. Then when he was fired, you heard these reports of how Nick Nurse reportedly had some jealousy towards some of his assistant coaches. There was a rift there and a rift there between him and some of his players, causing for what we're hearing all year, this selfish play and a real lack of teamwork. But he's back now. Like I mentioned, it is awkward. Some fans and even some players not too happy with Nurse, but in the end, he did help the Raptors win their first championship.
I have to ask you, you know, he's going to be there. I'm sure he's going to be on the big screen. What are you expecting the crowd reaction will be? Is he going to get a standing ovation, or are the Boo Birds going to be out tonight?
I think the Boo Birds pretty much saved themselves for the Leafs and Jays. The Raptors fans, for the most part, have been pretty reserved with their boos over the last few years. I think he probably will still get that standing ovation because, like I mentioned, for most fans remember him helping them get that championship. So I think he will at least get a mighty round of applause. The bet going on right now between the media is whether or not he's going to acknowledge it or not. Just a fun little side note.
Now, a key person in the 76ers lineup is not in Toronto tonight, James Harden. What can you tell us about that?
Well, it seems drama has been surrounding Nick Nurse for the last couple of years, whether he likes it or not. He goes to the 76ers. James Harden does not have an issue with Nick Nurse. He wants to be traded. He demanded a trade from the 76ers to the Clippers. It has not happened. He did not go to most of training camp. He did not show up for a variety of the practices. And when the 76ers went on the first road trip of the regular season, he was told he can stay home. He was told this when he was going to board the plane. So right now there's a bit of tension between the team and James Harden. But for the most part, the players on the 76ers are just focusing on the season ahead. And tonight they're hoping for a win, whereas Raptors fans, they're really hoping to get a W after that unique game that happened in Chicago last night.
Yeah, speaking of that game, you know, they start off pretty good with that first win. You know, they lost a nail-biter last game. They have a new head coach. What are you seeing with this Raptors team? How do you see them doing this season?
Well, when we're talking even about Nick Nurse and Darko and how that will impact the team right now, Darko really has, still I know he's only in his first season as a head coach of an NBA team focused first. I spoke to an agent within the league who says the big difference between Darko and Nick Nurse is, hey, look at what's on Nick Nurse's head. He has his own initials on there. No other coach within the league has it, whereas Darko is a community and team player. And just to add kind of to how this team is a little bit different, Chris Boucher was on the Raptors show on Sportsnet Radio recently saying the difference he sees already is that Darko actually responds to his text messages. So right now, we're still very early in the season, but it seems like there's a lot of team camaraderie that's happening, and we definitely did not see that last season with the Raptors.
All right, thank you so much, Lindsay. We'll have highlights for the game later tonight on City News at 11.